Have you ever wondered what becomes of glittering royal tiaras? Many are passed down through generations, becoming priceless heirlooms, but some are unexpectedly offered for sale. Today we delve into the captivating histories of magnificent tiaras that have departed from royal vaults. The world of fine jewellery, especially pieces once belonging to royalty or the highest echelons of the aristocracy, is shrouded in an aura of mystery and unattainability. Their value often remains enigmatic, as such heirlooms are rarely offered for sale, passed down instead as symbols of status and family history. However, contrary to popular belief, the market for antique tiaras doesn't just exist, it is active and dynamic. These crowns of splendor are coveted items among collectors and connoisseurs, willing to pay astronomical sums for a piece of history. Occasionally, the veil of secrecy lifts, revealing not only staggering prices, but also, rarely, the new owners of these legendary jewels. 1. The Emerald Dream of Princess von Donnersmarck. Let's begin with a truly breathtaking creation. The tiara that once graced the head of Princess Katharina Henkel von Donnersmarck. Picture a majestic jewel, radiant with the sparkle of old mine-cut diamonds, forming an exquisite pattern of scrolls and garlands. But its crowning glory lies in 11 exceedingly rare, pear-shaped Colombian emeralds, weighing a total of over 500 carats. These gems, of a deep, saturated green hue, like drops of morning dew on a spiderweb, are mounted to maximize light capture, creating an effect of ethereal radiance. The tiara's provenance is as impressive as its appearance. It is believed the emeralds once belonged to an Indian Maharaja, and later, perhaps, even adorned the neck of Empress Eugenie, wife of Napoleon III. Prince Guido Henkel von Donnersmarck, a Prussian aristocrat and industrialist, one of the wealthiest men of his era, commissioned or acquired this tiara for his second wife, Katerina Vasilievna Slepova, a Russian noblewoman of modest origins whose beauty and wit captured his heart. The tiara became a symbol of their love and her elevated social standing. Princess Katerina shone in it at the most prestigious receptions and balls of early 20th century Europe. As time went by, however, and after the princess's death, the tiara vanished from sight for many years. Then in May 2011 it reappeared before the world in all its splendor at a Sotheby's auction in Geneva. Anticipation was high, but the result surpassed all expectations. After intense bidding, the tiara was sold to an anonymous buyer for a then-record $12.76 million. This sum established it as the most expensive tiara ever sold at auction at that time. Since then, this emerald marvel has once again disappeared from public view, presumably joining a private collection, hidden from outside eyes. We can only guess who the lucky owner of this treasure might be and whether we will ever see it again. Such a trajectory, passing from a noble family into an anonymous private collection, is the fate of many precious jewels. But what happens when a tiara leaves not just an aristocratic house, but a reigning royal family, becoming the subject of a transaction, sometimes shrouded in rumours and speculation? 2. Belgian drama, Queen Elizabeth's Cartier tiara. Let us turn our attention to Belgium and the story of a tiara created by the illustrious House of Cartier. This magnificent Art Deco piece, crafted from platinum and showered with diamonds, originally belonged to Queen Elizabeth of Bavaria, consort of King Albert I. Elizabeth, known for her refined taste and love of the arts, often wore this tiara at official functions. The tiara's design, reminiscent of a Russian kokoshnik, but featuring geometric motifs and graceful scrolls typical of Cartier during that period, underscored her royal status and sophistication. Following Elizabeth's death, the tiara passed to her son, King Leopold III. However, it was worn not by Leopold's first wife, the beloved Queen Astrid, who tragically died in a car crash, but by his second wife, Lilian Bales, Princess de Réti. Leopold and Lilian's marriage was morganatic and occurred during the German occupation of Belgium, causing significant public disapproval. Lilian, despite her elegance and style, never managed to win the affection of the people. It was Princess Lillian who decided to sell this iconic Cartier tiara. The circumstances surrounding the sale are clouded by conjecture. Persistent rumors circulated that she did so secretly, unbeknownst to her stepson, King Baudouin, Leopold III's son from his first marriage to Astrid. It was said that Baudouin, had he known of the sale, would certainly have repurchased the tiara to preserve it as part of his mother's legacy and the Belgian crown's heritage. However, other sources claim that the relationship between Lillian and Baudouin was quite cordial, and the story of a secret sale is merely another attempt to tarnish the reputation of the unpopular princess. Be that as it may, the fact remains: the magnificent Cartier tiara left the Belgian royal family. But there is a silver lining to this story. Ultimately, the tiara was acquired by the House of Cartier itself and is now part of their historical collection. It is regularly exhibited worldwide, allowing jewelry enthusiasts to admire this masterpiece and recall its royal history. Perhaps this is the best outcome for a relic that left its family, returning to its creator, who will carefully preserve it for posterity. The loss of this tiara by the royal family is a poignant, yet not unique instance of monarchs parting with their jewels. The fate of another European royal collection proved even more dramatic, as exile and financial hardship forced the sale of a significant portion of the family's heritage. 3. Spanish Sorrow. Queen Victoria Eugenie's Chaumet Spike Tiara. Let us now turn our gaze to Spain and its royal treasury, whose fate was overshadowed by the political upheavals of the 20th century. The Spanish royal collection was once quite extensive, comprising numerous magnificent jewels. However, the long period of the royal family's exile during the Second Spanish Republic and the subsequent Franco regime led to many jewels being sold off to maintain their standard of living or for other reasons. Among these losses was the Chaumet Spike Tiara, belonging to Queen Victoria Eugenie of Battenberg, wife of King Alfonso XIII and granddaughter of Britain's Queen Victoria. This tiara, created by the renowned Parisian jewellery house Chaumet, featured a bold and recognizable design. It consisted of a series of pointed elements, spikes, presumably crafted from platinum, diamonds, and possibly pearls, creating an effect that was both majestic and slightly audacious, like a halo around the Queen's head. What makes this loss particularly poignant is the fact that the tiara was a wedding gift to Victoria Eugenie from her husband, King Alfonso XIII, in 1906. Wedding gifts in royal families often carry special symbolic and emotional weight, serving not merely as adornments, but as pledges of union and dynastic continuity. Queen Victoria Eugenie undoubtedly treasured this gift and wore it in many official portraits and at events during her reign. However, the vicissitudes of fate compelled her to part with this significant piece. Living in exile in Rome, facing financial hardship and an uncertain future, Queen Victoria Eugenie made the difficult decision to sell the Chaumet Spike tiara. The exact circumstances and date of the sale are unknown, as is the identity of the buyer. The tiara vanished, and its subsequent fate remains a mystery. This is just one of many examples of how historical cataclysms can lead to the dispersal and loss of priceless royal relics, leaving behind only memories and old photographs. Selling a wedding gift from one's husband is a step taken only in the most desperate circumstances. The Spanish queen sold her tiara while in exile, but what if the necessity of selling family jewels becomes almost a family tradition, even within one of the world's most stable and wealthy monarchies? 4. The British Connection, the dispersed legacy of the Kent branch. Let's turn to the British royal family, renowned for its vast and magnificent collection of jewels. Queen Mary of Teck, consort of King George V, was a passionate collector and connoisseur of jewellery. She not only amassed an impressive collection, but also ensured that her children were provided with family jewels that would symbolise their status and connection to the dynasty. Each of her children inherited significant parures, complete sets of jewellery, as well as individual pieces. However, the subsequent fate of these treasures varied. Particularly noteworthy is the story of the jewels inherited by her fourth son, Prince George, Duke of Kent. Prince George was a charismatic but controversial figure, known for his bohemian lifestyle, friendships with avant-garde artists, and somewhat scandalous reputation. His life was tragically cut short in 1942, at the young age of 39. He died in a plane crash under unclear circumstances during World War II. His widow, Princess Marina of Greece and Denmark, left with 3 young children, faced the need to maintain their accustomed aristocratic lifestyle. According to some sources, it was she who initiated what could be called a family tradition within the Kent branch, selling off inherited jewels to cover expenses. Princess Marina, a style icon of her time, was known for her elegance and love of luxury. While she herself may have sold jewellery with some restraint, her children, the current Duke of Kent, Princess Alexandra, and Prince Michael of Kent, went much further. Over recent decades, a significant portion of the jewellery inherited by Princess Marina and her husband from Queen Mary and other relatives has been put up for auction and sold. One of the most notable sales involved the magnificent Cambridge sapphire tiara. This historic piece originally belonged to Augusta of Hesse-Kassel, Duchess of Cambridge, Queen Mary's maternal grandmother. The tiara, adorned with large sapphires surrounded by diamonds, was part of an impressive sapphire parure. Queen Mary inherited it and later passed it on to her son George and daughter-in-law Marina. After Marina's death, the tiara passed to her son, Prince Michael, or his descendants, and was eventually sold. Its current whereabouts are unknown. It is worth noting that some stones from the sold Kent jewels are occasionally used to create new pieces. For instance, there is the Kent City of London Fringe tiara, worn by Princess Michael of Kent, and it is speculated that the diamonds for it may have been sourced from other family heirlooms. However, even when new tiaras are created, they rarely match the historical significance and artistic value of the lost originals, such as the Cambridge sapphire tiara. This story clearly demonstrates how, even at the heart of the British monarchy, economic realities and personal choices can lead to the gradual disappearance of a priceless heritage. The Cambridge tiara was not the only treasure of Queen Mary's to leave the family via the Kent branch or other heirs. What became of her other magnificent parures? One of them, an amethyst set, recently resurfaced in a most unexpected way. 5. The Mystery of Queen Mary's Amethysts and Anna Wintour. Queen Mary of Teck possessed not only famous diamonds, emeralds and sapphires, but also an impressive collection of amethyst jewellery. One of the highlights of this collection was a magnificent amethyst parure, which included a tiara, necklace, earrings, brooches, and possibly bracelets. The amethysts, likely of Siberian origin, considered the most valuable due to their deep purple colour with red flashes, were surrounded by diamonds and set, most probably in gold or platinum, in a style typical of the Edwardian era or the early 20th century. Like many of her other treasures, Queen Mary bequeathed this parure to one of her children. However, precisely who inherited this amethyst set is not definitively known. One thing is clear: the heir or their descendants eventually decided to sell the parure, either whole or in parts. For many years, the trail of these magnificent amethysts went cold, and they seemed to have permanently vanished from the public eye. Imagine then the astonishment of jewellery enthusiasts when a few years ago the necklace from this very parure of Queen Mary's was spotted on Anna Wintour. The legendary editor-in-chief of American Vogue, a fashion icon and one of the most influential figures in the industry, appeared wearing this historic piece at a high-profile social event, presumably the Met Gala. The large amethysts in their diamond setting contrasted dramatically with her signature style. This appearance raised a host of questions. Did Anna Wintour purchase the necklace herself, or was it loaned to her by its current owner, who wishes to remain anonymous? Perhaps the piece belongs to a fashion house or a collector who lent it to Wintour for the special occasion. There are no answers to these questions, but the very fact that a royal necklace appeared on a non-royal, albeit highly influential figure underscores the unpredictable paths historical jewels can take after being sold. It serves as a reminder that even treasures thought lost forever can suddenly surface in the most unexpected places, continuing their existence in a new context. These stories offer just a few glimpses into the complex and sometimes poignant fate of royal and aristocratic jewels. They glittered at coronations, weddings, state receptions. They were symbols of power, love, and family ties. But time, circumstances, and human decisions are relentless. We have seen how magnificent tiaras, witnesses to history and embodiments of jewelry genius, departed from their illustrious owners. The reasons vary: financial difficulties, political tempests, personal choices of heirs, or simply the changing tides of eras and priorities. Each tiara sold represents not only an economic transaction, but also a small drama, a severing of the thread connecting the past to the present. Although some of these masterpieces return to their creators or find new custodians capable of appreciating their significance, many vanish into private collections, depriving us of the opportunity to admire their beauty and study their history. Is heritage a responsibility or personal property? Where does the line lie between preserving history for all and the right to dispose of one's own assets? These questions remain open. Which of these stories did you find most interesting or touching? Are there other sold royal jewels you'd like to learn more about? Share your thoughts in the comments. Give us a like if you enjoyed this dive into the world of sparkle and history, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new stories about the fates of great jewelry creations. Thanks for watching.